Good morning children, this is your history class. Today we are going to see unit 5, social and religious reform movements in the 19th century. So many advanced things, many new things has happened in the 19th century. Many reformation has been occurred. So that is all will be seen in this chapter. So in this chapter you come to know about the reform movements, the causes for the reform movements and the contribution of Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda to regenerate the Indian society, and about the role played by 19th century reformers towards the causes of women. So all these things will be discussed in this chapter. So let me read out the introduction part. English education, introduced with the object of producing clerks, also produced a new English educated middle class. So we all know that we were under the rulers of the British, under the rulership of English, right? So for that sake, the English people, they have introduced some education system to create some clerks for writing and all. They need some clerks, right? So they started to educate the people. So later it produced new English education in our country. This class came under the influence of Western ideas and thoughts. So slowly Christianity also had its effects and thoughts. So slowly Christianity also started to spread here. They attempted to harmonize both Indian and Western cultures. The Indian reformers, however, quite hesitant to subject their old notions and habits to critical scrutiny. So the English people, they brought many reformation, many new things to our culture, but our Indian reformers were unable to cope with them. They were unable to take the notions and habits of the people. So later, but they tried to link both the Indian and Western cultures. So their ideas and the action helped to mitigate social evils such as sati, female infanticide and child marriage and various superstitious beliefs. So we all know that we were bounded with many superstitious beliefs. So later, because of these new changes, all these actions started to eradicate sati, okay, which means when a husband dies, the wife also supposed to die at the same time. Okay, she'll be thrown in the fire. That is called sati system. Female infanticide, when a baby is born, it should be killed at the time of birth itself. That is called female infanticide. Child marriage, when 12, 13 and all, they started to marry, and many superstitious beliefs. Okay, they all had all these things. So they slowly it all started to change. First we'll see about circumstances that led to the reform movements of the 19th century. What are the causes for the reformed movements? We'll see that. The 19th century India was plagued with a number of social evils such as sati, child marriage, female infanticide, polygamy and so on. So as we saw earlier, the 19th century was plagued, okay, they were cursed with all some social evils like sati, child marriage, female infanticide, also polygamy, which means a man can marry many girls. Polygamy, that is called polygamy. Women are subjugated by men and were not allowed to get education. So women were not allowed to get proper education. They were restricted to home and here. They were considered inferior to men. So they were restricted at home itself. Only kitchen is considered to be their world. We all know before 20, 200, 300 years and all, they will only stay at home. They will never come out of the home itself. Okay, only kitchen is considered to be their world. Okay, they are always considered inferior to men. The condition of the depressed classes were miserable. They were subject to untouchable. So depressed classes, some people were, they were considered very inferior. Some high class people, low class people, they were a very vast variation between these two classes. So they were considered untouchable. People won't touch them at all. Okay, they were considered very untouchable. In your book also, you will be having untouchability. In the front page, you will be having a phrase called untouchability is inhuman, untouchability is a crime, is a violence. So in those days and all, it was in practice. That is why to eradicate all those things, the government has put on these words in our textbooks also, children. So there was no education among the people belonging to lower caste. So lower caste people, they were not allowed to go to the school also. There were the evil practices prevalent in Indian society, such as excessive superstitious religious belief, animal sacrifice, which needed to attention of the social reformers for the benefit of the common people of the society. So many superstitious belief they had, religious belief they had, animal sacrifices, they sacrificed animals also. There were total absence of reasons in the society. The system of child marriage was prevalent, which resulted to child widows. These widows were never accepted in the family and was destined to lead a pathetic life. So child marriage were very much popular at that time. When a child gets married at very young age, when it lost its husband, it would become a widow, right? Even 12-13 years children also, girls also would become a widow. But at that time that family will not take her. Okay, so she will be abandoned. She would not have proper education, she won't have any support from her family, she would be living a very pathetic life. So these are the things were occurring in the 19th century. Okay, so all these circumstances only move to reform. That is all need to be reformed, right? That is all need to be changed. So this is what happened in these are the causes for the Reformation. Okay, next we'll see about the contribution of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda to regenerate the Indian society. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a simple priest of Kolkata, gained popularity by emphasizing the spiritual union with God by singing bhajans. So Ramakrishna, he was a simple priest, as we have today in temples, church and all. He is also a simple priest of Kolkata. He was very famous by giving preaching, by giving speech of the spiritual union with God. So all have to be united with God by singing bhajans, some prayer songs. Okay, he declared that manifestations of the Divine Mother were infinite and said Jiva is Siva, which means all living beings are God. So one of his famous quote was Jiva is Siva. Jivan means life, that is Shiva. Okay, which means all living beings are God. So all the creatures, all living beings are considered to be God. This is one of his famous quote. He insisted on not mercy, rather service. Service for man as regarded as service to God. When we serve a man, we are considered that we are serving God. What people would think serving to God, worshipping him, giving contribution to the God, to the temple, that is all considered to be a very big service. But at the same time, they will not treat any common people in a proper way. Even if a beggar also, they will not treat them properly. So what he says is, when we serve a man, when we serve a poor man, it is considered that we are serving God. After his death in 1886, his disciples, especially Vivekananda, established the Ramakrishna Mission, which undertook not only religious activities but also social causes. So in 1886, his disciples, he will be having some followers, right? So his disciple, one among them is Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. We all know him, right? Swami Vivekananda. He only established the Ramakrishna Mission. Today also we have it in Chennai, Ramakrishna Mission. So which undertook not only religious activities but also many social causes. Education, health care, relief in times of calamities were the main social works of the mission. So they'll educate poor people who doesn't have money to pursue their higher education, health care. So during calamities, some natural disaster occurs, means they'll go and help the needy people. So all these works are done by the mission. Vivekananda emphasized a cultural nationalism and made a call to Indian youth to regenerate Hindu society. So he called all the youngsters to regenerate the Hindu society. His ideas gave a sense of self-confidence among Indians who felt inferior in relation to the materialistic achievements of the West. He suggested that the Orthodox Hindu, that the lower caste should be allowed to engage in the Hindu rituals from which they were excluded. So even Hindus, in that itself, they have two categories, high class, low class. So the low class people will not allowed to be inside the temple. So all these things has been changed in this period. Vivekananda's activist ideology rekindled the desire of political change among many Western education young Bengalis. So many young Bengalis have been changed their mind. Many people have changed their mind because of his ideas, Vivekananda's ideas. His ideas were inspiring to many of the militant nationalists before Indian independence and even for today's people. So even today's people also following his preachings. Next we'll see about several social reformers who emerged during the 19th century. Okay, they played a very big role for the women's sake. We'll see that. First one is Rajaram Mohan Roy was deeply concerned with the preventing customs of sati, child marriage and polygamy. He advocated the rights of widows to remarry. He wanted polygamy to end. He raised voice against sati system and forced the Governor General William Bentinck to abolish the social evil in 1829. He condemned the subjugation of women and opposed the prevailing ideas that women were inferior to men. He strongly advocated education for women. So he fought for the freedom of women. He was fighting for child marriage, fighting against child marriage, polygamy, sati, and also he said that widows should get remarried because they are losing their life in a very young age, right? So they can't lead it further. They have rest of the life they have, right? So they can remarry some other person. So also he strongly advised that all women should get education. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was lead against the burning of widows. So burning of widows, that is also called one type of sati only. He supported the idea of widow remarriage. He played a leading role in promoting education for girls and helped them in setting up number of schools. So he also said the same thing. He set many schools for the education of women. He led a movement that resulted in Widows Remarriage Reform Act of 1856. Jyotiba Phule worked for the cause of women. He opposed child marriage and supported remarriage, a widow remarriage, which was prohibited, particularly their lives for the uplift of the depressed classes and women. So, widow remarriage that was strictly prohibited for the lower class people. So, this Jyotiba Phule, she worked for this. She also opened orphanages and home for the widows. Swami Dayananda Saraswati said that prohibition of widow remarriage had no scriptural sanction. So, people are very much devoted to God, right? So, when they didn't accept all this, God will not accept our worship. So, he said in that way. Who? Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Reformers like R.C. Bandarkar and Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade devoted themselves to activities such as widow remarriage and improvement of women and depressed classes. They started Widow Remarriage Association in 1861. So these are the role played by the 19th century reformers towards the cause of women. Okay, now we'll see about the 4 articles of faith that said by Maharishi Debendranath Tagore. So the first one is, in the beginning there was nothing, the one supreme being alone existed who created the universe. So in biblical verse also we have a first verse that in the beginning there was nothing was existing in the earth, in the universe. The only supreme being, which means the creator alone, was in the universe, and later only he created everything. He alone is the God of truth, infinite wisdom, goodness and power, eternal. So the creator, he is the God of truth, only he can speak the truth alone, and infinite wisdom, his wisdom cannot be counted, it is endless, and also goodness and power, eternal, okay, everlasting. He doesn't have any starting or end, alpha omega we used to say. So he doesn't have any beginning or any end. Our salvation depends on belief in him and in his worship in this world. So our salvation, which means to deliver someone from the harm, evil, everything. So our salvation, it depends on the belief which we have on the creator. Belief consisting in loving him and doing his will. So when we believe a person, we used to love him, and also we used to do his desire, his wishes, his will. We'll obey his words. Okay. So this is the 4 articles of faith said by Maharishi. Next we'll see about the reforms of Ramalinga Adigal. Ramalinga Swamigal emphasized the bonds of responsibility and compassion between living beings. So every living beings must be treated in a very compassionate manner. He emphasized that view that those who lack compassion for suffering being are hard-hearted, their wisdom squandered. He showed his compassion and mercy on all living beings, including plants. So he showed compassion. He was taking care of all living beings, including plants also. Okay, so that is also created by God, right? Created by God. He established that Samarasa Veda Sanmarka Sangam. Samarasa Veda Sanmarka Sangam in 1865, and it was renamed in 1872 as Samarasa Suddha Sanmarka Satya Sangam, which means Society for Pure Truth in Universal Selfhood. So Ramalinga Adigal, he also established free feeding house for the poor people, for everyone, okay, especially for the poor people. So this is what the story gets end, children. So we have seen the reformations that occurred in the 19th century, contribution of Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and many reformers in the 19th century. I hope you would have understand this chapter. Thank you, children.